Hi, we're here today with Viana Maya from pRESPECT and Bayile Adeoti from our Dechomai. We're really excited to be talking with them today about different topics and to have these women at our final post for Black History Month, celebrating the whole month and concluding our projects for this celebration. So first, I'll give you guys the floor so you can introduce yourselves and your companies.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Bayile Adeoti. I'm the Managing Director of Dechomai.
Hi, I'm Viana Maya. I'm the founder of pRESPECT and pRESPECT Hub Community Interest Company.
Thank you. So I just want to start with Bayile first. For those that don't know or have just recently started following us, can you give us a little bit more information on what Dechomai do, how you started Dechomai?
Dechomai is a social enterprise. It provides business and operations solutions to hospitality, and we also provide corporate gift boxes. I started Dechomai 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years next week. And it was just for lack of role models in the hospitality industry from people from Black and ethnic backgrounds. You always see people from Black and ethnic backgrounds working in lower skilled roles in hospitality and retail, but never in management roles or operations roles. So I just created Dechomai to create those opportunities, give people work experience. But since then we've diversified and we've gone more into the enterprise side, because enterprise is something that I've always been passionate about. And yeah, I just feel as if there should be an opportunity for all to experience enterprise, but also to get the right support in having an enterprise in the United Kingdom.
Thank you. So for you, Viana, just the same questions. Just introduce what pRESPECT do and a little bit more about why it is that you started pRESPECT.
Yeah, sure. So pRESPECT, I'll talk to you about pRESPECT Hub Community Interest Company first. So pRESPECT Hub Community Interest Company, we work with ethnic minorities and other marginalized people looking to gain sustainable long-term employment. And I started that when I was working as an employability coordinator for another organization. And I found that the employability industry, or just in terms of schemes and opportunities, things that were created for ethnic minority people, wasn't really speaking to the ambition. And I found that a lot of employability was focused on placing people or shifting the ambition to, similar to what Bayile was saying, to low incomes or just low skilled jobs. So it wasn't igniting them, it wasn't inspiring them. And so what I wanted to do with pRESPECT is to create a hub, to create a space where we support people to gain those sustainable long-term, the jobs that they want to do. And that's if we need to plug the gap when it comes to the skill set, when it comes to doing placements, opportunity with employers where they can expand their skills, etc. We then also work with employers. So this is where pRESPECT now, as a social enterprise, we also work with employers in terms of working in work progression with either ethnic minority groups or their employees in general. We work with charities to run workshops in terms of building people's confidence to start from the bottom all the way up. And then we also work in terms of diversity and inclusion, but we really want to look at diversity and inclusion from a different perspective. Rather than just talking about it, it's really that we want to push for accountability and action, not just representation, but starting to see people moving up the ladder. So that's pRESPECT.
Great, thank you so much. On to my next question. As you know, we've been celebrating Black History Month at Dechomai, and just all over the UK, there's been celebrations of Black History Month. I know we got to catch up with Viana, and also Bayile has said what Black History Month means to you guys. But I also just wanted to expand a little bit more on the topic of Black History Month. And also, do you think that the reach is far enough in terms of celebrations, but also as an opportunity for all of us to come together to ask the questions that have to be asked for non-Black people to be able to first research how they can be part of that, how they can help the cause, and just your thoughts on this general topic.
I love Black History Month. I love the fact that it's a celebration, but something that I keep thinking at the back of my mind is to always remember the 1st of November, because after October, we're still here, we're still occupying spaces, but it's for communities around us, it's for those with influence to also continue to celebrate Black people and the Black community, not just in the month of October, but throughout the whole year, and celebrating that excellence, celebrating diversity throughout the whole year.
Absolutely. I feel that it's, I used to feel uncomfortable with the idea of it, because I felt like, oh my gosh, suddenly it's a month to cram everything in, and then we go back to being invisible and then to still continue the conversation. But now I'm taking it from the point of celebration. I'm focusing more on that. And especially in terms of with having a young person in the home and how they're learning about Black History Month is, yeah, it's not what we as grown-ups are talking about. So it's really important for us to reinforce it and to continue the conversation after November, December, the whole year. It should be a constant thing. It shouldn't just be directed to the month. I think in terms of the month, we should really use that for reflection, for education, for empowerment, and then accelerate it as well. But in terms of reach, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, and my social media had lots of things going on in terms of Black History Month. Some of it focused on more of a history, some of it focused on excellence in the future, which I think this year was a bit of a better balance. I don't know if it's just because of the spaces that I was looking at. I felt a bit more of a inspired to move forward, where compared to last year where it felt a bit heavy. This year was a good balance of, there's just so many, lots of amazing people, organizations doing great things out there, that when we do come back in November and start talking about equality, diversity, etc., let's remember that month where we actually got to see and hear people. Yeah, so continue.
I do agree with Viana, and you'll know yourself, Tanya, that there is a bit of a hesitance when it comes to Black History Month amongst the Black community, because you've asked so many people to do a feature for our Black History Month campaign, and people are still hesitant. They don't want their voice to be heard, or they're afraid of what people will think, whether in their workplace or just in their friendship circles. So it is still, I guess, depending on which perspective that you look at it, it's not just shining a spotlight for that time of the month, but time of the year, sorry, but it's actually shining a spotlight on different individuals to celebrate what they've achieved, but also to, as Viana said, to reflect on how far we've come and the work that's still to go. And I think if we are able to create these spaces throughout the whole year, then October will not be an uncomfortable time of the year.
Yeah,
it'll be
absolutely
just another time, just like Christmas is another time where we can celebrate something, and we know Christmas is coming up and people prepare themselves. I hope that we can get to a point where Black History Month is the same.
Yeah, I think in terms of the hesitation, I noticed that at the beginning of Black History Month, people are also talking about show racism, the red card, and wear red for to show that you're against racism, and it comes from that education as well. So as you know, as I said, as grown-ups, we know the difference, the different things that we can celebrate Black History Month. But when it comes to education, what people are being taught is the things that make you feel uncomfortable, because suddenly you're feeling like, oh, what are you asking me? When you get that email to say, can you come and talk about Black History Month? I just go, oops, nope, well, you're asking me first before I come and talk about it. It's just in our nature. But I feel that this year has been really strong and positive, and it's been great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Even just when I was reaching out to people and then just going through the videos to post them on our social media, just the voice of it, everybody's videos have been so positive. And I kept finding similar themes to celebrate, exactly just to celebrate everything. Black excellence, Black culture, Black history, but also almost every single person that we had sent a video said, yes, this is an amazing time, and we're so happy that we have this time that is delegated of the year, that is delegated to this, but we should not forget to continue the celebration throughout the year. And I feel like sometimes it can happen, it can just slip, and then we just forget that no, this is something that we have to do all the time, that people have to be mindful, people have to just celebrate, no matter, it's not at this time, or we'll save this for October, or the October Black History Month. No, this has to happen just throughout the year, all the times, and all of us just need to strive to do that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. Just striving from, I know Viana mentioned as well, just climbing the ladder in the workplace as well. I know we managed to, when we got together, we managed to have a talk with you, Viana, about what you think about diversity, inclusivity in the workplace. We've also had chats with Bayile about this meme that we saw. I think it started from Twitter, where you would see the emojis in a pyramid, basically, and then you would see all the white faces at the top, and then at the bottom you see more diversity. And it was just something about like how companies think about diversity. So that was a topic of discussion for our team for quite some time. So I just wanted to ask you guys, what is your take as Black business owners, but also with the nature of pRESPECT's activities? What is your take on that? What would you say to other businesses that actually want to do something, want to have their companies be more diverse, want to do everything that they can to be more inclusive, so there's no people left out, and also that ladder also does not look the way that meme looks?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do. There's been a lot of progress in terms of representation. So, you know, we're talking a lot about if you don't see it, you can't be it. And I think people got stuck on that. So now we're seeing people, but yet we're not seeing them in those positions of leaderships. We're not seeing people in management. And if you do, you'll see one person, that person's going to be there until they hopefully get to the top. They might just get stuck there. And that's the person that's going to be shown around everywhere. Like, look, we've got a manager. Not even, so, you know, I could rant all day. But it's really, I think for me now, this is why we're working on in-work progression. Because you can get people into roles, you know, you can diversify and improve your recruitments and start to get people in there. But then if that stops at getting people in with no opportunity to progress, then that's not real diversity. That is just a bit of tick box exercise. You've got some people there and that's it. And I think as well, and hearing all the messages that in terms of what people were saying during Black History Month, is there's a different kind of energy when it comes to how people want to be represented in the places they're going to work, etc. So it means that companies have to then shift. It's not that people are waiting for that opportunity to present itself. They're going to go with the companies that are diversifying. They're going to go with the companies that are being inclusive. They're going to go with the companies who are looking at the company culture and allowing that flexibility to have difference in your company. I think the problem is people get stuck on the company culture and it's not flexible, you know, and then when you're getting people from different backgrounds or different, they having to adapt themselves to fit in when your culture should be evolving. We evolve in terms of our lives and our world. And that just makes for better work. It makes for that, you know, if you think about it in business sense, for your profit, the figures are there, you know. But I just feel now we really need to get that work in terms of opportunities, progression in the workplace. But I'm not seeing enough of it, basically. In a short answer, I'm not seeing enough of it.
I think just to follow on from what Viana has said, something that Viana and we have regular chats just about not being a gatekeeper. We know ourselves. There have been so many gatekeepers when it's come to opportunities for ourselves. So even when we're creating opportunities for others, or if we're getting people into workplaces, it's also to encourage those people to hold the door open for others to come in. I remember my husband telling me 3 years ago when he started with his former employer, he was the only person of color in the team, and I think there was like 30 of them, but his boss was a woman, and she said by the end of this year, and it was March, she was like, I want my team to be more diverse, and she was like, and you can hold me accountable to that. by the end of the year, she had recruited more people of color as well as more women. And she would say, I'm looking for a female business analyst. I'm looking for a female, and specific when she was looking for certain roles. And 3 years after he left, he was like, he'd gone from a team of one person of color to practically like 60-40, almost getting to the 50. And he was like, his boss lived up to everything that she said she would. And you could just see the diversity in the team from the people that were working there. And it was a great team to work with, and those like opportunities. And I think as people are in roles, it's always to see who else could you bring into that role, who else could come and work in the company, and not just see yourself as the person that's fulfilling or tick that box, but there's so many other people that could have those opportunities, and together we can do it together. We're stronger in numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also that comes down to that company. It's sometimes companies create these culture where you feel like you can only be the only person, because then who's going to get that promotion when that time comes? So I feel I want to meet that manager. And just how did she do it? She created a culture where it was inviting and it was welcoming, and it was really, and it must have been a great place to work. And in terms of performance, they probably performed, in an amazing way. So and it can be done. And the conversations I'm having at the moment, they're really good with some, and sometimes can be really frustrating. But I feel like we have to continue the conversation, but we also want to see the action that goes with that. And just as Bayile said, if you're in a position to open that door, open the door. Bayile and I were constantly sharing stuff. Yeah. Outside, it might look like we could potentially be competitors, but I think we have such different varieties that it's been such a compliment.
Yeah.
That I think I've only known you a year. It feels like I've known you forever. It's been just such a beautiful sort of connection that I have to say it really helped during those lockdowns. It's like, oh my gosh, I have somebody I can actually talk to and share ideas with, and things are happening, and I feel it's helped us to progress and do things in a sort of faster way than if we were, I'm not gonna share anything with that person. So it's really open it up. It's a two-way thing, but not to say that we have to be the one to solve everything, basically.
Absolutely.
The sharing of resources has been so important in lockdown for ourselves, like just to know that there's someone in the social enterprise circle doing something similar with, I think, also the same goals and same aspirations. So to be able to pick up the phone to you, Viana, and be like, I want to do this. Does this sound crazy? And then she's like, we've got this project. What do you think? And she's like, yeah, go for it. Do it. So I think that's like really important for us both, and just that continual growth and continual sharing of resources, ideas, and even people. Like there's so many people Viana's introduced me to, and vice versa, where we're just like, let's keep connecting people and grow this ecosystem for Scotland.
And that's diversity, people.
Definitely. I think I completely agree. I think we've seen many cases, unfortunately, where in big companies as well, somewhere where you would hope you wouldn't see it, where managers or CEOs or just people higher up would make these statements, how they're committed to diversity, inclusivity, and then something a couple months, a year comes out that is not the case at all, and it's just used by some entities. It's just used as a way to build on the branding, but there's no action behind the things that they say. So I think what you, Bayile, especially with your husband's boss at the time, what you stressed is actually commitment, saying something, but then having actual follow through to what you've said. That says a lot about a person, and that is the right thing that you have to do, not to just stand somewhere and say, we're going to do this. This is what the goals are, and then just leave it at that, and have a peace of mind that you've said it. You actually need to work towards achieving that goal.
Yeah, I think it's accountability as well, because that manager involved the team. And I think that's where sometimes diversity inclusion in organizations fail, is that at the top level, they're all shouting and talking about and loving it. But in the middle, where it's going to happen, they're not always involving people. So if you don't involve your employees, then you create a culture of that uncertainty and that fear. You're not actually talking to people about what's going to happen and why you're doing it, and involving them in the process as well. That really just creates that opportunity to diversify, to be inclusive. You're inviting people in your company and trusting that they're part of it, rather than telling them that this is what we're going to do now. It's involve people and be held accountable as well.
Absolutely, it's so crucial to have the team involved and just to feel that they're a part of this goal that you're trying to achieve, this thing that you want to do. So later on, there's no, as you said, there's no competition. There's not a sense of well, what's happening here? Yeah, exactly. I know you just touched upon the sisterhood that you build as two business owners, but I just wanted to ask you as well, what has been your experience as Black and female business owners? I know that it's just, we've had discussions with Bayile, it's just hard, especially mentally, it's just hard to begin and to grow this idea that you have in your head into something that you can actually see. You have your space now, Viana, so you can actually physically see that thing. So I just wanted to ask you about this, and having gone through this journey, and you're still going through this journey, what would be your number one tip, or your couple of tips that you want to give to someone who is like you and wants to start a business right now and doesn't know where to even begin, doesn't feel mentally ready, and is looking for that community that will help build them up?
I think reach out. Like, you know us, you've seen us, reach out if you're in Scotland. There's lots of, Bayile and I are also part of other communities that we've engaged with. Be proactive in networking with people. I know sometimes people feel nervous about sharing ideas. You don't have to share too much, but share enough. Like we've just had a meeting with somebody who shared his ideas, and we're progressing, moving forward, and it's okay, it's there. We all have similar backgrounds and whatnot, but connect with people. If you're going to commit to courses, I know Dechomai, you do lots of courses when it comes to enterprise and starting your own business. Unfortunately, you don't do anything for men yet. I'm just going to put the yet there. But if you're a woman and you want to get into business, Dechomai's you do loads of great courses that I wish was around when I was starting. But I think also you have to feel the fear and do it anyways. There's a book that I use by Suzanne Jeffers, my favorite, thin little book. The title basically is what I guide myself on, is just do it, because you can be thinking about it and not putting it into action. And that you build your strength as well. It's, the days when I'm doing this and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? Let me go apply for a real job and work for somebody and whatnot. But then I also remember why I started it as well. You have to have your why. What's your passion? And for me, it's people. I love working with people. I see the people that I'm working with. The people that my colleagues that I'm working with as well. It takes away from some of the struggles. Like I said, meeting Bayile, basically I reached out, we were connected from that. It was just like, right, I love what she's doing. Let's see what's going on. Had a chat, and then from there, our backgrounds, we were both McDonald's girls. That's our experience. And it's also that ethos as well. It's like, it's the why are you doing this? In terms of what's out there to support us, I've been talking a lot about this, especially in the last 6 months when I've had to pivot the company and start a community interest at the same time. And obviously we're setting up this hub. The resources that are out there are not updated to what people actually need. And in terms for, as a Black founder, I'm finding, I think mostly in Scotland, is that the resources are not really fitting to how the things that we need to do. I feel like in terms of the criteria and the scrutiny is very different to what other people get. And I accept that, but that difference, that struggle, I'm reading a book called Twice as Hard. We're always expected to work twice as hard, whereas I feel as social enterprise, that's 10 times harder to get to that point. And also is that proving that you can do it. So that is the reality that I kind of accept that I live in, that doesn't mean I'm going to let that stop me from doing what I need to do. So it's almost that thing of, I'm not going to pretend that it's not there, but I'm also not going to stop trying to do the things that I want to do. But it's important to build your network, to have those people that you can share things with, that you can say, right, this is what's happened, this is what I'm going through, and they understand. You're not having to explain it and go into the minute details of what it is that you're going through. And take your time, always reflect as well, have those moments to reflect on what you're doing, what's happened, okay, how do you want to move forward? But I think really building your community, don't be scared to share ideas, give it a go, and reach out. There's loads of us out here now. If you're not following what's happened in Black History Month, there's loads of people. Go on LinkedIn and connect with people, reach out. We're really nice. We'll work with you.
Yeah, I think the advice Viana gave was really good. I would definitely say, if you're going to start a business, find your community, find your tribe, find your group. And when you do have a meltdown, and Viana, I can testify to that, I will say, why am I doing this? Like, this is too hard. I could be doing something else. And it's that group of women that just say, no, you're in the space, you're occupying the space that you're meant to occupy. That's where you're meant to be. And you will doubt yourself, you will have imposter syndrome when you're in rooms with big names. But once again, it's those people that will say, no, you're in the right place, you're in the right time, you're meant to be doing that. And I think with Dechomai, we have seen the benefit. Like, Viana and I love to learn. We're always learning. And on this social enterprise journey, I've been on at least 2 different cohorts for social enterprises. And I'm always looking, thinking, what more can I do? How can I learn? And learning from others, always reaching out to see who's doing something. And even if they're doing something similar, I contacted somebody who's doing something similar to Dechomai with our corporate gift boxes, but she's down in Wales. And I contacted her and asked her, what's working for you? What's not working for you? Picked some ideas. We shared ideas, resources, and we've actually even just exchanged different contact for people. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask people who are doing something similar to you, because when it comes to social enterprises, everyone's willing to share information. And Viana, breaking news for everybody, 2022 hopes to be a big year for Dechomai. So to all the men out there, we've already started piloting some different things with men. It has been under the radar, but in 2022, we are opening up to reaching ethnic minority men. So ladies, if your husband has got an idea, send him our way. We can't wait to embrace his idea, and the team are just ready to get behind it, every single guy. But we always have to look after women first, because we know how tough it is for women, and we're not neglecting our number one focus, which is women. But yeah, we do see a need for even just Black men who just need the information, they need the resources. So we will be opening that up in 2022.
Oh, I'm excited. We're going to be posting that up on our website as well. Then that's brilliant. And I think just what Bayile was saying there, especially when it comes to that imposter syndrome, that's always going to be there. Not to say in a negative way, it's going to be there. It's just how you move with it. And I also find when you're feeling like you want to give up, that's actually that point of transformation. That's you just moving on to the next level. So thinking like that has helped me to go, okay, you know what, this is hard. It means like what's coming at the other side is going to be great. Okay. And then you can sort of put those, and that it builds into your system. But if you're feeling stressed, or if you're feeling, and I think in terms of for me, well-being, mental health, well-being, etc., is really, really important. And that's something that sometimes, especially for Black female founders, we're really bad at neglecting our well-being and our mental health. So really taking that time to look after yourself. It's okay to switch off sometimes. The business is not going to crumble. It's not going to run away from you, and that's when you really need your tribe. That's when you need to really look after yourself. But put all the systems in place at the beginning before you start to grow. So don't wait until you're growing to recognize, when am I having my breaking point? When am I having this? when am I feeling like this? Recognize it. We do a lot of work in terms of being aware of self. It's really, really key to know what's happening in terms of your body, your mind, as you move forward, because it is hard. Social enterprise is hard. It's not a picnic. Being a founder or CEO is not like sitting like Mark Zuckerberg. You have to put in that work, and then you're going to get to that point where you want to be as well.
Thank you so much. That has been amazingly insightful. I agree with everything you've said. I think I've been doing the Monday motivation post for Dechomai, and I do see kind of some of the themes that I keep going back to and that I really, really like and really kind of resonate with me is exactly feel the fear and do it anyway. Remember why you're doing it. Just kind of stick to that idea, that purpose, and just keep going. And it's okay to feel the fear. That's not, nobody expects people to stop being afraid, to always be confident in themselves, to just do everything easily and never make mistakes. Just making mistakes is how you learn and how you grow, and that's completely okay. So failure, you shouldn't be afraid to feel to fail in something. And also reaching out to the community, knowing that there is support for you, that you can always reach out to people that are going through the exact same thing as you, and that you're not alone. I think that is so key to remaining in a good mindset and just keep going and not feeling down on yourself and not giving up, basically. Thank you so much. As I said, this has been incredibly insightful, such an amazing conversation. I hope our viewers will be happy with our meetings on our interview. I hope we can leave something for people, something that they can take away from this, some knowledge, some of your advice as well, and just walk away feeling enriched. Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you.